advocated very strong, tough regulation on the big banks. But I didn't advocate the Volcker Rule as a way to go. And the reason I didn't was, at least from my experience, that when I looked at the failures and the problems we were dealing with, it didn't come from proprietary trading.
That was former Treasury Secretary Hank Paulson yesterday speaking to us exclusively about the Volcker Rule, and joining us now with his thoughts on that and on the budget, Senator Bob Corker, a member of the Banking Committee. Good morning, Senator. How are you?
Good morning. I feel so connected. I get our economic data from you. Thank you.
Yes?
Yeah.
We like it that way. Most of Washington does. I was just worried about, to get retraining now for unemployment insurance, you need a GED. Why don't they do that? Do you need a GED for Congress? I don't think you do. Do you? Hopefully that never becomes law.
That might be helpful, but look.
That'll empty out the whole city. You did say something about the Volcker Rule. You would like some changes. You're proposing some changes.
Look, the Volcker Rule could be fixed, and it could be easily fixed so that it worked. I was not a proponent of it. But it could be fixed. And for those who think the Volcker Rule is such a great idea as written, why don't they ask the Fed and the Treasury why Treasury bills and mortgage-backed securities are excluded? I mean, the reason they're excluded is obviously our officials knew that it would hurt the liquidity in those two instruments. So we could fix it. The problem is the authors of the Volcker Rule don't want to fix it. As a matter of fact, they want to drive it the other way. And what they're using this as is a backdoor way of trying to reincorporate Glass-Steagall. That might be an interesting debate to have. It's one we haven't had yet. And again, the Volcker Rule, I don't think we want our financial institutions out of the market making business, and I don't think you want to drive that. Those people that want to see good regulation, I don't think we want to drive that to unregulated markets. So again, it could be fixed. Just a little common sense can make it work. Unfortunately, there are a lot of forces around here that don't want to see that happen.
What did you say about the budget that makes a mockery of the American people? What do you really think? Is that what you really think?
Well, it really does. I mean, let's face it. I mean, this is, let's think about it. Our country has gotten in trouble because we've had politicians for years that have been willing to give citizens what they wish without asking them to pay for it. And what this budget document does, to me, it's a political document. I think everybody's agreed to that. What it's done is really preyed on the weakness of Americans, and that is that you can have your cake and eat it too. We can keep going like we are, even though these programs are insolvent, it won't matter. And what the Republican nominee, whoever that's going to be, is going to have to do is really to appeal to the greater angels of the American people to say that no, we have to stop this. We've got to move in a direction that has made our country great for years, and that is that we're willing to make short-term sacrifices for the long-term good of our country. This budget has none of that in it, and again, I expected a political document. Candidly, the budget's not even worth talking about at this moment. I think what should be talked about, and we're spending a lot of time on the payroll tax. That's sort of the shiny object that the media is watching. But I think an indication of where Congress is the highway bill. And unfortunately, what Congress is getting ready to do in a bipartisan way, which may mean that maybe neither party is really ready to lead at this moment, what Congress is getting ready to do is to pass a highway bill that has 2 years worth of spending, but 10 years worth of revenue to pay for it. And so all of those people who joined in to talk about going big, who talked about Bowles-Simpson, we're basically continuing on in a bipartisan way. I hope that's not going to be the case. To really continue to do the kind of things that we've done for years to get our country in trouble. Nobody's paying attention to that debate.
But Senator, maybe you don't get it, but for me, if I were going to try to get reelected, and I could promise everyone all the entitlements are currently getting, and that we're going to pay for it by taxing 1% of the people, don't you understand? That sounds like a really, really good deal to me. What do you want hard decisions being made about the future and sacrifice? You don't get it.
The Tocqueville warned us about that.
I know.
And, I hope that that's not how our country plays out.
It's a great way to get reelected.
In essence, it is a great way. And
we're going to watch it. You're going to watch it happen.
When the majority can benefit at the expense of the minority, you end up ruining a democracy. But look, again, let's focus on
get on board.
Maybe
you should get on board.
I guess I'm going to be an outlier for area.
You are.
I hope you'll keep asking me to come on, but I just disagree with that. And
But Senator, wait a minute. You cited Simpson Bowles, and there are a lot of people think that's the way we should have gone with things.
Yeah.
Alan Simpson himself said that this budget is a first step towards getting some of these difficult decisions made, that it does have some cutting and spending and some revenue raising. Granted, we're not there 100%, but if Simpson himself is saying this is a first step.
Yeah, I didn't hear him say that. I'm sure if you say, I have tremendous respect for you, I'm sure he said that. I see it in a very different way. I mean, this budget is such a non-document that I don't even really want to debate it. It's strictly a political document that does nothing and makes no real cuts. I mean, cuts that happen way out that we have nothing to do with today, they're not real. And so, again, this is not a real document. I did hear yesterday that Secretary Geithner says they're going to propose some real corporate tax reform. I look forward to that, and I hope it actually comes forward. I'm excited about the economic news. I'm glad the private sector is saying, we shall overcome the bad behavior in Washington. So there's some positive things that are happening, but this budget document is not one of those.
What?
I know. Are you sitting on a burr? What's going on?
What? All I was going to say, Senator, is this idea that it doesn't go far enough. The idea that it's a first step. What I can't figure out is what the president is supposed to do, whether I was on whatever aisle, the side of the aisle you're on, in this kind of political climate. And when you say it doesn't go far enough, then I start thinking back to the healthcare debate and the Republicans talking about death panels and all sorts of things. So it feels like we're at an impasse, and maybe we won't get there till 2013. I can only hope that 2013 is better than this.
Yeah, Andrew, look, the fact is I don't even want to debate the budget because it's a political document. Again, it's not worth talking about. You're right. We're probably, unfortunately, not going to deal with these issues until 2013. But I think something we should focus on. We have a piece of legislation that's moving now. Is Congress, forget the administration, is Congress going to continue the same bad behavior that Congress on both sides of the aisle has exhibited for years, where we pass a highway bill that has 2 years worth of spending but 10 years worth of pay-fors? I think this is a real moment for Congress to show that, no, we're not going to do those things. We're basically, with the highway bill, creating the same exact problem that we have with something called the sustainable growth rate for physicians. And each of you see us kicking the can down the road every year and a half because we will not deal with that on a long-term basis. Now we're getting ready to get that same kind of poison injected into the Highway Trust Fund. And it's unfortunate that Andrew's right, that during this political season, unfortunately, all of Congress appears to begin to act very irresponsible. And all I would say is hopefully all of those people that stood up and said, let's go big, all of those people who said we need to embrace the principles of Bowles-Simpson, we really need to move towards long-term deficit reduction. Hopefully all of those people, those same people, will reject doing what we're getting ready to do with this highway bill, which is just more of the same. So we have an opportunity, in spite of the president's budget, to act responsible, and hopefully over the next few days we will do that. But I am thrilled the economy is picking up. I thank the private sector for what it's doing, and I hope it continues.
Senator, just so I don't mischaracterize Alan Simpson's comments, he did say that this is a good first step, good start, but he also said there's no tough decisions that are made in this budget.
Yeah, Becky, we all know we have to address the Medicare issue. And to totally punt on that issue, to me, is incredible. We know we have to address tax reform, and I welcome Secretary. Okay, I know you guys got to go.
Sorry, we always say that.
Repeating.
Maybe he meant a good start, just any budget after 1,000 days.
Hey,
that's right. We have a budget document. That is a good step.
I read some headlines from it. I went back through and I've read the whole story while we were sitting here.
It's almost 1,100 days.
Yeah, he said it's a good start to not let it go, to be sequestered.